Hi friends, it's been a hot minute and I want to talk to you about natural cycles. I feel like I was ready to make this video a few months ago and I was like, yeah, I'm going to make it, it's going to be great. And then I didn't, and then there was a big hype around natural cycles and everyone had a hot take, and now I'm making it when everyone's sort of forgotten about it, but I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing natural cycle talk back. I need to point out this is just my experiences with natural cycles. You might have completely different stories, but I just wanted to talk about how I experienced using the app. And as someone who used the app to not get pregnant and then to plan a pregnancy, I feel like I'm in a pretty good position to be able to talk about the different sides to it. I first heard about natural cycles via Hannah Witten, who is my queen. I love her so much, and if she told me to jump off a building, I'd consider it, at least for the pictures. So she mentioned natural cycles and how it was a good way of not using hormonal contraception, and I'm someone who's reacted bad to hormonal contraception in the past. When I was on the implant, it made me nearly suicidal, like it was really awful, and I did not like it. And in the run up to the wedding, we knew that we wanted to try for a baby once we were married, which obviously went quite well. I knew that eventually I had to come off the pill. Sometimes they say it takes like 18 months for your periods to get back to normal, etc, etc, all the hormones get out of your body, so I was like, this seems pretty perfect, I'll give it a go. So I decided to pay the like £50 to Natural Cycles, which I felt like was a lot of money, especially when you're getting your contraceptive pill for free, you can get free condoms, but I was like, I'll give it a go. It says it's the only contraceptive app that's like recommended by doctors and stuff, and there was like science talk, and I was like, cool, I'm into that. I just want to say, temping, taking your temperature and plotting your cycle has been used for like a buttload of years, like hundreds of years. So when people are a bit funny about it, it's like, well, no, it's scientifically proven that your basal temperature peaks at certain times, and so you can sort of predict ovulation, although obviously there are other reasons that you could, your temperature could be peaking, so it's a bit, in terms of using it as a form of contraception, I think it's maybe a little bit questionable, but using it to track your like peak fertile days, I'm sort of on board with. I've got a balsal thermometer. I did bring it down to show, and then I've like moved everything, so well, anyway, it's a specific thermometer. It goes to like 2 decimal points. It's cute and purple, awesome. So you take your temperature at the same time every morning, if you try and remember. As someone who often forgot her pill, it wasn't the easiest thing, but you just do it whilst you're in bed, put the numbers in, Bob's your uncle. Great. So this was in the run up to the wedding, and I didn't get pregnant, so it's kind of a, well, did it work, or did it just like not work? It's hard to tell, isn't it? It's a bit cause and effect. So what it does is it gives you green days and red days. So red days are like, hey, use protection, or just don't do the do. And green days are like, go crazy pals, have some fun. The first few months it was mostly red days, and I was like, I feel like you're just hedging your bets. I feel like you're just like, yeah, you could get pregnant today. However, when you switch to pregnancy mode, there's maybe like 2 days a month that you can get pregnant that it tells you. So I don't know, I feel like it's really just sort of hedging its bets quite a lot. So after the wedding we decided we would try for a baby. I did my temperature every day. However, sometimes it would change things retrospectively. So it would tell us that today is a fertile day, so we'd baby dance. And then the next day it'd be like, oh no, sorry, no, I didn't mean that actually, it's tomorrow, it's a different day. Which, when you're trying for a baby, is a bit frustrating, but if we'd have not been trying for a baby and done the do unprotected and then found out that actually it was a fertile day, that could have been a big issue. So obviously the more often you put your temperature in, the more it kind of manages to track your cycle. So a lot of it could be down to like user error. You need to make sure you take your temperature about the same time every day, which is frustrating if you're on a line on a weekend because you've got to wake up, take your temperature. You have to do it before you get out of bed, so if you go for a wee first thing, you're like, don't know if this counts. One time I think it was not long after our miscarriage, it said I was almost 5 days late for my period. So I was like, this is it, boys, buzzing, like really, really excited. It's a pregnancy test, no, negative, like what's going on? Then I came on, and you know, it's just one of those things, but then the app retrospectively changed it as if it hadn't been telling me that I was due on 5 days ago. And then it even gave me one of its little like, congrats, you've got a really regular cycle. Well, I haven't, have I? Because you thought I was 5 days late. And judging by my normal cycle, I was 5 days late. So, we did a lot of sort of moving the goalposts after they were set, which obviously is not super helpful when you are trying for or deliberately not trying for a baby. I did ovulation tests when it suggested. I even invested in the slightly fancier ones. And so I would get a positive ovulation test and I'd put in positive. But then it would decide that my ovulation was like 4 days later when I didn't put it in negative. So it was like it just sort of wanted to crack its own, didn't care about the information I was putting in, it was completely irrelevant. I sort of gave up the natural cycles after that incident because I was like, I can understand, you know, I'm just 5 days late, like that's a bit weird, sure, like, you know, my body's probably still a bit messed up, but the fact that it then retrospectively changed it so that it was correct annoyed me a bit. It's kind of like if you were waiting for a train and it just kept saying it was on time, but it kept changing the time it was supposed to be, like, oh no, it was always 10:30. Oh, it was always 25 to 11. I was always 20 to 11. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but that's the one I'm going with. So for a short while, I kept it on because I'd almost been using it for a year at this point, and I also downloaded Ovia and Flow, and Ovia and Flow were a lot more accurate. They were both giving me the same dates, whereas Natural Cycles was like off on its own. I don't know, just paint in the sky. I don't know what it was doing, but Ovia and Flow were having the exact same information. They're not necessarily temping apps, but they were, you know, they sort of did cycles. It only took one cycle for me to get pregnant. I'm not saying that's because of those apps, but as soon as I stopped relying on Natural Cycles and looked at the other ones, we got pregnant. So I'm just saying, and the other two are free. Again, Ovia is also really nice to use, because there's also an Ovia pregnancy, which I'm using at the moment. It says which size the baby is. It's currently the size of a puffin, I think, which seems quite large. I still fully believe in temping when trying for a baby. I still, on a lot of the Facebook pages that I'm part of about like trying to conceive, a lot of women swear by temping and it works for them. So I don't think temping is wrong or incorrect when you're trying for a baby. However, I don't think Natural Cycles works as a contraceptive app. There's been quite a lot of reports of people getting pregnant on it, and obviously, like, you can get pregnant on any type of contraception, like that's just something everyone knows. However, I think a lot of it with Natural Cycles is people not getting pregnant, but not because of the app, just one of those things. They just happened to not get pregnant. So for example, I don't necessarily think that Natural Cycles is the reason we didn't get pregnant before the wedding. I think we were just lucky not to, and the timings did kind of coincide. So I guess my conclusion, and obviously you can take from my story as you will, is that as a contraceptive app, despite the fact obviously it didn't not work for me, I would be wary of it. If you just want to track your temperature, try and see when's the best time to try for a baby, I do think that's a good idea, but I don't think Natural Cycles is your best bet for that, because they just seem to change the goalposts for me. Again, I'm sure lots of people have really positive experiences with it, but I'm not a fan. Sorry guys, I cancelled my subscription, which I'm glad, because £50 is a lot of money for something that doesn't really work. So let me know in the comments below if you've used Natural Cycles, if you agree, if you disagree, how you feel about it, and I shall see you soon. Bye!